Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Huey After Midnight. I'm Huey Morgan, and this is BBC Radio 2. Online on digital radio and on 88 and 91 on the FM dial.
And now the BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Harvey Cook. In the past hour, the United Nations Security Council has voted unanimously in favour of a resolution aimed at ridding Syria of chemical weapons. The document had emerged after the United States and Russia settled their differences over the text. After the vote, the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon warned the international community should remember that many people in Syria were still being killed by non-chemical weapons.
The catalogue of horrors in Syria continues with the bombs and tanks, grenades and guns. A red light for one form of weapons does not mean a green light for others. This is not a license to kill with conventional weapons. All the violence must end. All the guns must fall silent.
President Obama has spoken by telephone to his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani in the first direct contact between the leaders of the US and Iran for more than 30 years. Mr. Obama said he believed the two sides could agree a solution to the dispute over Iran's nuclear program. Detectives in Leicester have charged 4 people with murder in connection with a fire at a house in which a mother and her 3 teenage children were killed. The 16-year-old youth, 24-year-old man and 2 19-year-old men are due in court in the morning. An 18-year-old man had already been charged with murder over the fire a fortnight ago. The Prime Minister's unveiled plans for tax breaks for some married couples worth up to £200 a year. The scheme, to be introduced in April 2015, would allow couples to transfer £1,000 of their tax allowance to their spouse. Mr Cameron said the tax break would also apply to gay couples as well as civil partners. The UN panel on climate change says scientists are more convinced than ever that humans are the dominant cause of global warming. The experts say the evidence has grown since their last report in 2007, and they're now 95% certain. They predict that by the end of the century, sea levels could rise by between 26 and 82 centimetres, and temperatures will continue to increase. The report says sustained and substantial reductions in greenhouse gas emissions are needed to limit climate change. Dr. Paul Williams of the University of Reading says there's a lot of support for the report's findings.
There are literally hundreds, thousands of independent strands of evidence, and that's what scientists look for. It's bad science, really, to take one piece of evidence and draw conclusions from it, but when all these different independent strands of evidence are all pointing in the same direction and telling a consistent story, that's when you start to take it seriously.
Now, a special fund to pay for expensive cancer drugs in England is to continue for an extra 2 years. The Cancer Drugs Fund was due to finish next year. And that's the BBC News at 3 minutes past 2, our next at 3.